Hello, I'm Ajay from Canonic, and in this video, we will learn how you can interact with your external databases in Canonic. We'll begin by creating a workflow. Let's call it get all books. Workflows in Canonic are way you can create API endpoints and automations. So let's attach a node to it. So we'll attach DB query node because we want to interact with the database. Here I want to interact with PostgreSQL, so that's what I'll do. And in connection string, I have already copied mine. So I'll paste it here. I'm using RDS hosted PostgreSQL. And in query, I want to say, so I let from I have a table called books. Cool, let's query that. Let's test it. We'll check if it is working. Yeah, so I'm getting output. In output, I'm getting this key called data, and inside it, I have all my books. This looks good. We'll jump onto visualization. We'll create a page called dashboard. These all are canonic components which you can drag and drop and configure. We will be using just the table component here. We'll get rid of this rows, and we want to get the new rows from this workflow called get all books. I'll click on it, and I know my data is in a field called dot data. Yeah, so that got my data. Now I want to regenerate this column, so I'll go to data source. This has already pre-filled my columns. I'll just have to save, and this has a list of all my books. Cool. Now let's create another workflow that will let us create another book. So say create a book. Here we'll again add DB query node. It will be PostgreSQL. In required tab, we can say insert into books, and it will have this parenthesis where what do I want to insert? I want to insert title and author and values. Now these values will be dynamic in nature. So how do you do that in Canonic? So all you have to do is add double curly braces. Inside here I'll type input dot title, and I'll add a comma here. Again single inverted comma, double curly braces, input dot author. So what this will allow me to do is have these two values dynamic rather than static. But from where can I configure this title and author? So I can set my API endpoint that way. So here I can say I want to accept title, which will be of type string, require true, and author, which will be of type string, require true. Cool. So now two of our workflows are done. We'll jump back into the front end builder. Here, let's say I want to add a book. So I'll drag in this modal component, and in here I'll add into input component, which will let me get the values of author and title. So okay, so we'll configure this. So title input, it will have input called a label called title. Similarly here we'll call it author input, and it will have label called author. Let's just group them together so they look a bit neater. Add some padding to it, and it looks a bit better now. Cool. So let's assume we want to add this book called The Wager. I think the author is David Gran. Yeah. So whenever I click on this OK text, I want to execute the workflow. So how I can do that? There is a setting called handlers here, which handles the events. So I can click on this thing, and it will be on submit handler. Action I want to perform is execute workflow. This is the workflow I want to execute. So say execute a workflow will be create a book, and configure input. In this I have to provide the input, so input will be coming from title input dot value, so it has our title value. Also in author I have to put in the author input dot value, so it has David Grant, the author's name. Nice. So whenever I click on the OK text, it will execute this create a book workflow. But I do want to show the user some output, sorry, some feedback, so the user would know that their query has executed. So I'll say title input. I can write, sorry, it will not value. Yeah, so I can say book, the wager is added to the TP. Okay, so this will be the alert that will be shown. Cool. So what I want to do next is I want to refresh my table. So this is how I can do that. I can say refresh component. The component I want to refresh is table. And okay, so that should be it. After I click on trigger on submit, it shows me my alert, and my book, the wager, is added to the database and it is being showed on this table. If I want to check what has happened, I can go to the logs, where I can see create a book has been triggered by Canvas. That was our dashboard, and it received this input, and result was success. Also, I can check these logs as well. So it was triggered twice from Canvas and once from the test. It has data of all the books that I had. This was the previous, so this doesn't have newly added book. This was the latest, so this will have newly added book. So yeah, this is how you can interact with your external databases. In this particular video, we learn how you can interact with PostgreSQL. I hope you learned something from this video, and thank you for watching. Bye.